So moving on to our next submission, Historic Places Canterbury, Mark Gerrard. Good to see you, Mark. Welcome to the table.
Councillors and Mayor, thank you very much for the opportunity to make this submission. First up, we'd like to acknowledge and thank the efforts of the Christchurch City Council Heritage team, and we request the Mayor and Councillors to communicate our appreciation. In addition, we'd also like to acknowledge and thank Richie Moore and his team for their outstanding work on the Council's heritage buildings. Also, personally as Chair, I'd like to acknowledge Megan Pearson, who's been providing advice. It was clear and prompt in what was a very, very interesting COVID-19 annual plan process. It's very, very good. As a general comment, to make any submission meaningful, it depends on the quality of the information available, and we'd like to say that we thought the current level of documentations was very, very good. Regard special and capital, etc., was clear, and it was really easy to go through it. Well, easy, you can go through it line by line and understand it. I realise I get no sympathy from the councillors because you'll be living and breathing it for 24 hours. Our only request would be that we would ask in future documentation that we could have more detail on the operational activities as well as the capital to the same detail, and it would make it easier all round for everybody. Further on, we don't normally comment on the rates, but in these COVID times, we consider the staff recommended rate increase and the accompanying increase in borrowing as prudent. In view of the circumstances, we think it's a valid compromise. Now, as regards the Robert McDougall and the old municipal chambers, we agree about the deferring of the proposed work, which has been substantially brought back. It was brought back into the plan, now it's going back out again. However, we would seek assurance from the council that they be really rigorous in ensuring that the buildings are weather-tight and ensure there's no material any deterioration in it, because we're really concerned if they're going to be put on hold. Just as an aside, we should point out to the councillors, the Robert McDougall archive, which is a bequest from Robert McDougall, has been, as far as we're aware, has been vacant since 2003. It was a bequest, and I think the council's on and bound to do something about it. It was a fantastic gift to the city, and we can't blame the earthquake on this one. Since New Gallery's opened, it's been closed. So it'd be nice if we could get it open again to the public. We support, of course, the special heritage targeted rate, and we submit that it to be continued. As regards heritage grants, heritage buildings, heritage projects and group projects, which is now part of the council's heritage strategy, as the council is committed to supporting heritage, and the community has widely supported this, as you're well aware. And we think the council should be committed to beholding heritage because the community is supportive of it, as they've agreed in the document that they're going to partner with the community. And so for this one, we're making a request for heritage grants to be retained at their current levels and consideration be given to having them increased if needed. The reason we do so, that most heritage buildings, especially the commercial ones we're referring to, are usually by the time an application is made for heritage grant, they're shovel ready to go. It's part of the process. And it's almost seed money for those buildings. As you're well aware, having building activity in the CBD ready to go is great. It's great for rejuvenation. We're aware of one street where there's two restored heritage buildings are fully tenanted, and the remaining heritage buildings are being tenanted comparatively quickly to the CBD, to the rest of the CBD. I know one shop was recently sold, so that's post the opening up down to level 2. So these buildings are ready to go and people are interested, so the grants we consider important. We'll also remind the councillors that these grants also apply, one went to the Littleton Tug, that community groups applying for grants, for many foundations, there's a provision that they must have for their proposed, that they have fundraised a third of the cost of the project, and the council grant for this is important for this. So therefore, the heritage grants we said are important. They're effectively seed capital that allows them to leverage on, so the council provides a small amount of money for the total cost, and it's seeds. We note that landmark and HIG funding is to be combined. We're concerned a little about this because each is a slightly different and the policies are slightly different. So we sort of request for clarity that the council reconsider this proposal and keep them separate so that we know what you're going to do with each one. Now, into the specifics, we'd like to request that the repair of tombstones funding being reinstated. A number of community groups have adopted their local cemeteries and this funding encourages their efforts. We understand these groups partner with the council on the repairs, and this is a case of where a little money goes a long way. We also have heard that Selwyn District Council have repaired their tombstones, and you are considerably, I'm guessing, we've got far more financial heft than they have, and they have done so. We also request for the full funding for Heritage Week to be reinstated, and we understand this plan is slightly truncated. This is another case where the council provides base funding and community groups leverage upon that. There's some major fundraising actions happen as a result of Heritage Week, etc. I can speak from personal experience. We hosted a house tour, etc., and I was reduced to a talking standstill, which most councils around the table realise that's a major achievement as we took people through the house explaining what it was. To me, to be talked to a talking standstill is a big event. And so this is again where you're in partnership with the community. And the Ebbets Band Rotunda, we think this is great that it's now finally it's been much delayed. And we remind everybody this was a magnificent request by Thomas Edmund. We, of course, endorse the proposing of the council heritage buildings, Trokebuoy, Ems Band Rotunda, Rose Historic Chapel, etc. But we also ask just that reinstate full funding for Mona Vale Bathhouse, and the reason for this is you have spent so much money on Mona Vale thus far to have a bit of it not repaired, and it's really well liked. You've got a commercial operator and they're working, and I think it's ready to finish because you've already started the project to give it completeness. And this relates to the city being regenerated and fully recovering from the earthquake. The same applies to the Peacock Fountain renewal, and we push for this one because it's part of the major entrance of the Botanical Gardens, and we think if we're going to say that the city, we've made our comeback, this is a statement we've got to make to say that yes we are, we're telling the world that our regeneration is reality. And the other one we have concerns about is Coronation Hall, which has been taken off the list. We understand it's been waiting for funding for restoration since 2015. It's fire damage, and we're really concerned about any material damage as a result of it being left in abeyance like that. On the proposed level of services, we're in agreement with what's going on, the call centre, etc. We just ask that you develop, we've asked this really, a more complex way of measuring what the level of service and how well you deliver, because we don't know whether the citizen survey will work in our interactions with the council. And we find the council staff to be very, very good, and we've said before, we've probably got nice things to say about the council staff, but we haven't got an opportunity to tell them, so unless I'm surveyed individually by the citizen survey, I can't tell you. So if you could get feedback, it'd be really good. You're doing something, work with building, etc. We support the intangible heritage policy and the funds set aside, and we also support for guidelines for Heritage Week. We just ask to be flexible because our collective history is very diverse, and we'd like Heritage Week to be able to, for those groups to express themselves, whatever the theme is that they fit in. The other issue that comes up time and time again, and we'd ask them to follow it up, is could we request that the council engage in formal discussion with the central government to form a partnership for the repair of the provincial council building. We think it's of national significance, and we think the government will have real difficulty in Wellington saying no to a building of national significance, and I think it's totally appropriate for the council to commence formal discussions about that, to partnership with that. And that, councillors, is it. Thank you very much for hearing it.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Anne.
Thanks, Mark. The Robert McDougall, some have suggested that it just be reopened. It's obviously tied in intrinsically with the development of the museum. What are your, does Heritage, does your organisation have an opinion about that?
You're referring to the future use of it?
Yes, or the fact that rather than being left there, could it be opened in the meantime, reopened?
As regards to future list, we haven't officially made a use. Our efforts have been on getting it repaired so we can get it open, get it focused on that one. And so, first up, our position, it was set up as a gallery, so therefore it must retain whatever role in the future as a gallery. And that's the most important, and to have it open. the future yes as regards the arrangement that the council have when it comes to that arrangement. I understand there are other views. That Christchurch Civic Trust has a view. But our argument is, could you please start the strengthening and the repair? We think this building's been in abeyance for too long, out of public circulation since 2003, and it's time that we did something about it. I hope that answers the question.
All right, Mark, thank you very much indeed for the submission and for coming along to present to us this morning. Thank you.